What's up everyone? In this video we're going to go over the latest update to keep track of my games, the Pelegiad Update, which comes from one of my favorite games of all time, Morrowind. Pelegiad is a town in the middle of nowhere, so it seems like maybe this update's not that great, but I chose it because it starts with the letter P, and we've got two new P features that got released. A double P feature, if you will. Sorry I'm around kids all the time. Anyway, before I get into that, just in case you're not familiar, Keep Track of My Games is a video game collection app. It's like Goodreads for your games. You can bring in your physical collection or your digital games from all across multiple platforms into one place where you can manage them, and you can find out what game you're going to play next or what you're going to buy later, and you can catalog your collection and all sorts of good stuff. So if that sounds interesting, just head over to keeptrackofmygames.com where you can learn more. Otherwise, let's get into the update. So I'm going to go inside the app and we're going to go through each of the new features. All right. The biggest feature that just dropped is PlayStation support. So you can go into your power-ups, and under available power-ups, you'll see that you can now activate PlayStation. This brings in your played titles, and it supports checking new games automatically and importing them just like the other power-ups in the background. Once you activate the power-up, it'll bring you to this screen where you need to enter your PSN online ID. So this is your username that you go by on PSN. The only thing you need to do is make sure that your game history is visible to the public for importing to work. And you can click this link here to learn how to do that. The app will double check before it allows you to save a new ID. So if it can't access your games or your profile's not public, it will tell you that. Once you save your online ID, it will schedule an import, and in a couple minutes, you will have all of your PSN games available. The associations to the metadata in IGDB should be much better, so it should catch all the games that you have in your library. For anything that's unsupported, you can always go to IGDB and submit a data update, and then it should get reflected and Keep Track of My Games. And then you will see sometimes there's duplicate games, or looks like there's duplicates, but these are just unique title IDs. The way that Sony identifies them is through a title serial number. So you can click on it and you can see more details about what that is. So for example, this is the original Destiny game, whereas this one is the Destiny beta. So I'll be working on ways to hopefully smooth that out in the future, but for now that's how it works. You can also see it brings in your playtime. And that brings us to the next feature, which is playthrough tracking. So for patrons, right now in early access, you can track your progress through games. So when you hover over a game, you'll see this note to track progress. I can click on it, and then you can choose how you're playing the game, whether you're going through casually or you're trying to complete everything. If you're a speedrunner, you can track all of your speed runs so that you can time them and compare them. You can choose your difficulty level and the platform you're playing on. Once you do, you can start logging your time, and you can choose how you want to do this. You can log time as you play, or once you complete the game, you can log time at the end. You can also add your percentage progress, so if the game allows you to track a percent, then you can add that. You can pick when you started the game, you can add your completion date once you're done, and you can always change the difficulty level or platform at any time once you've created a playthrough. Now, like I said, this is for patrons only right now in early access. There's going to be some updates to it before it goes live to everybody else, but it will be available to everyone. It's just that for patrons, they'll be able to track more than one or two playthroughs. So I haven't decided yet, but I think everyone will be able to track at least 2 playthroughs. So if you replay something, or if you're playing a multiplayer version of the game when a single player, you can track those. But if you want to have multiple playthroughs, you'll need to be a patron. Those are the two major features in this update. There's been a few other quality of life updates worth noting. So the list header here that you can see is much more compact than it used to be. Let me show you the mobile view. You can now see up to 2 more games on your phone when you view your lists. On your tablet, you can see more than 4 new games, and on desktop, you can see more than 6, depending on how big your screen resolution is. I moved some secondary actions into this More menu here, like the privacy settings. This has been available for a long time, but I noticed that a lot of people didn't know that you can set the privacy of your lists. So by default, they're private, of course, but you can make them public, and then you can share your list with anybody on the internet. There's going to be more customizations coming to sharing pretty soon. And then the other thing that got released was a brand new game dialog. When you're searching and adding games, when you click on them, you'll see this new dialog, and it has a few more features than the old dialog. First of all, it shows you a little bit more metadata, so you can decide if this is something that is actually in your collection or not, or you're looking forward to. You can also add tags and platforms, something that wasn't supported before, and that can all stay in the same dialog and everything kind of matches together. This will also get some new enhancements coming up soon, but this was a nice quality of life enhancement, so you don't have to keep opening new tabs and checking out all the games that you're trying to add. And since we're in search, I suppose it's a good time to talk about what's next. The Suran update, another town in Morrowind, featuring the House of Earthly Delights, but instead of that, it's going to be the House of Searchly Delights. Yeah, my Morrowind fans will get that.
What in the world, man?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
That's good enough. That's good enough.
We're going to be focusing on search and making it way better than it is right now because it hasn't been touched in years. There's some games you can't even find because if they have numbers or they have alternative names or spellings or things like that, the algorithm just doesn't work so well. And I haven't updated it in quite a while. So it's going to get a brand new update. There's going to be much tighter integration between searching in your library and across the site. We're going to add more search facets, which means filters. So being able to sort of group by genre or group by platform or filter by platform, and filter out standalone expansions and DLC and add-ons or search for them specifically. That kind of stuff you're going to see. So very excited about that. That's going to be the major update. And then the second thing I'll be doing is refining all the playthrough tracking. So I'm going to be updating the UI before I make it live to everybody else and add a couple more new features. You might have noticed that PlayStation and also Steam bring in your playtime. So wouldn't it be cool if we could integrate those together? So that'll be coming inside of the playthrough tracking update. Now, if you want to get access to all these updates, you should become a patron because you'll get instant access to the current playthrough tracking. And then the search beta, once that is starting to roll out, that will also be available to patrons. And you can be a patron for as little as $1 a month. On average, people pay $5, but there have been people that paid $10 and even $20. But you don't have to pay every single month. So it sort of depends on what you're comfortable with, and you can pay for a month and then stop, and whatever you want to do. It's pay what you want. But if you're already a patron, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the Discord. Keep giving me feedback. The ad game dialogue was direct feedback from patrons, so that got incorporated. So I'm really trying to build this site for you guys. So just to really appreciate it. As an indie developer, I would love to make this my full-time gig. So let's make it happen, right? So with that, thanks for joining me, and I'll be back with you in the Suran update in a couple months. All right, see ya.